We're going to trim this open for the lid. I'm wetting the base of it so that I can get it to stick well to my bat. Make sure it's on center. Give it a minute so it can really stick well to the bat. And then, if you're afraid it's going to come off, just push it a little bit and see if it does. So, you can see after it sits there just for a minute, it has good adhesion. What we're going to do is take this screwdriver and we're going to push the clay inwards to form the flange for the lid. So we're just pushing, we're trying not to do any trimming here, we're just trying to displace it enough so that indentation that I'm making right now will become the flange.
How soft is the clay?
This one dried up a little bit too much because I left it out overnight, but you want it a leather hard. This one's a little stiff, but it still seems to be working okay. Bless you.
Thank you.
So we're just trying to press in and not trim. So when you see that you've gone in about 1/4 of an inch, that's probably good enough. Take your, oh, before you do that though, let's get rid of some of this little excess on there. So take a rib and clean it up. This will just save you time later if you do this now. Now we take a needle tool. We're going to cut right here.
Is that at an angle?
No, just straight is fine. Okay. So now we have a little flange on the top of our lid. Clean it off a little bit. What I should have done before I pulled that off is you want to make a little registration mark, top and bottom, so it returns to that same fitting. Hopefully I got it back in the same place. We want to trim the inside of this a little bit so there's room for that flange to go down in here. Okay, so we'll test it and see if it goes down in there. Where's my registration mark? There. That's my new registration mark. So it's not quite fitting in there, so that means I need to take a little bit off of the flange. Almost there.
So that's what happens when you get fancy with the knob.
That's what happens when you go a little bit too fancy with the knob, yeah.
You know, yeah, we'll just make short ones.
Or taller than me.
There you go.
Got a lot of bloopers material today.
Yeah, like, come on.
Almost. So you see it's a little bit of fiddly business going on here. You have to keep kind of going back and forth. This is a little bit too thick right here anyway. You can do a little bit of inside trimming.
Like spaghetti.
It's really wet on the inside. And then after I finish getting this fitted, I'm going to turn it upside down on this and trim the base of this one. I should have maybe pushed just a little bit more with a screwdriver. But I get kind of nervous when this video
What
is
happens
going.
if you push too hard?
You have a blooper video. Now, if you push too hard, it might rip or something, and you know, might have to start over. Okay, so now, see, you want to be able to do this even though you're registering it. You don't want it so tight. And then, now is a great time to go back with the rib and clean this up. So you have a nice smooth transition between those two. And if need be, you can take that.
So
This is a really easy way to make a little jar. Whoops, it's stuck together forever now. Look at that.
Coming up.
There we go. Okay. Like that. And then for those of you that are afraid you're going to knock this off, you know, because it doesn't have wads around it. Look how, I mean,
Because of the suction.
yeah. So I'm going to have to cut it off with my wire. Wow. It's really stuck on there. And now I can just turn this little guy over. So this is just, you know, basic trimming. But we might as well do it. Look what I did.
Do you want the...
I will in a second. And so on this one I will use the clay wads. Because I don't want to wet that rim.
You want to go run that under the faucet real quick?
It's going to make it mushy, but...
No. Don't run it under the... It's gonna
And
be
it's going to
fine.
rust the...
It's fine. That's good.
Those, because they're so hard to clean, the rust kind of builds up, the water stays.
Oh, I got it. I've been wrapping a paper towel and sit there while I finish cleaning.
Yeah. I'd rather not even get it wet. I remember when Tian spent all her time making used containers.
Mm-hmm.
you know, Brian has a slightly different way of doing it.
What?
Brian has a slightly different way of cutting a hole because it's easier.
What? How does he cut his the
He
hole?
does them at an angle.
Yeah. He cuts in with
With a fettling knife?
no, with
the
with
X-Acto knife, maybe.
Ooh.
yeah.
See, I don't encourage you guys to use things like that on the wheel.
Otherwise, you go to the hospital like for Nas.
Right.
Sorry for It's okay, I have the table saw. I trump both of you. I know, but this is a blooper. Because you stopped talking.
Who, me? No, I'm sorry. I should be talking. Yes, I'm trimming.
Oh.
Nico's provided the narrative
I think she's still filming, so all your little comments and voices.
Well, we do have fun in ceramics.
I wish you could just play a musical montage real quick.
Oh, that's
Wait,
true. She could just.
Yeah, just bring the music up and down depending on what's going on.
Okay, so that's gonna be that's a little sticky.
That's very cute. Nice, yeah.
See how cute?
That's really cute. Now, will you smooth out the edges where they meet?
Yes.
Inside
yeah.
there?
I'm gonna wait though. So it's a little gummy. So I'm going to wait till it dries up a little bit, and I will smooth. I'll take a chamois to this, but I don't want to move it too much because it, you know, matches up to this. And then I'll get rid of this sharp edge on there too.
No, we have separately or together?
No, always dry lids and bases together. Otherwise, and fire them together too. Otherwise, they might not fit later.